Hi, my bundle of joy. I hope you're doing well. This is INXJOY, and today's reading we have for you today is What Makes You Unforgettable. So we have 4 piles today. We have pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3, and pile number 4. You can pause here as always to meditate on your pile. But yeah, if you already know your pile, timestamps will be listed down below as always. I'll see you there. Hi, pile 1. If you've chosen this card, then this is your reading on what makes you unforgettable. So let's turn your first card over, and you have the Moon. All right. So what makes you unforgettable is that you carry this very sensitive side, this very intuitive side. It doesn't mean that that's how you always come off. I'm seeing Ariana Grande because the Moon usually is the card for the zodiac correspondence of Cancer, and she is a Cancer. And usually I find that I also see 111, so you're someone who brings in these new beginnings, as well as someone who has like this heart on their sleeve kind of way about them. You're someone who is very tough, who does have quite a strong personality, a very charming personality. It feels like you're someone who is very attractive, and you do put in that work to have that authenticness about you. Like whenever you do your makeup or whenever you get dressed, it feels very you. It feels like you're being yourself. It's never like you're trying too hard. It feels like very effortless kind of beauty. So what makes you unforgettable is having that very nurturing, that very sensitive. It feels like people want to kind of take care of you in a way. It feels like you might have like a baby face. You might have a lot of soft features on your face. If not, that's okay. But it feels like you're someone who... Sorry about that. I feel like my battery might have just died. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. But we will move forward. If it dies again, we'll see if we need to change the battery. Anyways, so with this 9 of Pentacles, this really gave off a very Empress-like vibe. So it feels like there is a side to you that is super nurturing, super loving, super open, and can hold space for people. What makes you unforgettable is that when people talk to you, you're giving them very honest, very authentic responses. It feels like you are someone who knows how to have a good relationship with their guts and their gut instincts and their gut feelings, and you know how to transfer that into the way you move about the world. With this Fool card, again, like I was saying earlier, you're someone who ushers in new beginnings for people. You help them grow spiritually and see their own potential for a new start, a new beginning. It feels like you're someone who can really be a cheerleader for someone, to give them that encouragement, that love, that support that's needed. And the way you move about your communication is quite slow. It's kind of refreshing, to be honest. It feels like when it comes to how you communicate with this 8 of Wands in reverse, it feels like you're someone who could weave in this whole story and tie in together the pieces of the puzzle that people couldn't see before talking to you. And it feels like you do it in a very calm way. Because there's still waters here, it feels like when you do something, it's emotionally very calm. It doesn't mean you're not spontaneous, because the Queen of Wands is here. There is definitely a spontaneous side of you. But when you talk to someone and give them advice, when you go grab a coffee with someone, or like you just like someone calls you up or something, it feels like you're very calm when it comes to being able to weave the pieces they couldn't see. Like, it feels like you're someone who ties things together and helps people understand why they're feeling the way they're feeling. All right, we're gonna move forward because I'm being drawn to a lot of the fiery aspects. So what makes you unforgettable is that you're someone who is very sexually alluring as well. It feels like you have this very passionate, very lively, very vivacious energy about you that helps, like, it makes a lot of people jealous. I'm not gonna like beat around the bush, but with these two lions at the side of the Queen of Wands being all like snarly, it feels like you're someone, to the outside, people that like see you out in public, they're very jealous of you. Like, you might not notice it because you're like off in your own land doing your own thing, not really paying attention to like other people staring at you. But like when other people stare at you and they don't know you, they automatically get this jealousy of, oh my god, they're so attractive, why aren't I like that? But the people that know you, your friends and your family members, they think you're an angel. They think you're super sweet, super kind, very intuitive, very smart, someone who can really be independent and be on their own, and who can make things happen. You can grow things from anything. You know how to have that very gentle touch that helps you uproot anything that isn't serving you. It feels like you're okay to make change, you're okay to flow about the world, you're okay to make that new beginning for yourself if it's needed. So what makes my pal Wands unforgettable? What makes my pal Wands unforgettable? We have the Page of Wands. What makes my pal Wands unforgettable? You have the Queen of Cups in reverse, which I'm a little surprised about, to be honest. What makes my pal Wands unforgettable? What makes my pal Wands unforgettable? Thank you. You have the Knight of Cups in reverse. Oh, and there it is. All right. You have Temperance. Oh, you have the Queen of Pentacles and Temperance upright. Okay. So what makes you unforgettable, my dear pal Wands? Is that you're someone who really pushes forward with the future. You really like to have a very grounded, very methodical, very life-bringing energy to the way you move about the world. So what makes you unforgettable is that you really do carry this balanced sense of yourself, of being like, oh, I can both be in the ways of the water, but I can also ground myself in the ways of the land. And by that I mean you know how to regulate your emotions well. You know how to detach from your emotions well. and you know how to have that inner power, that inner source of being someone who can cultivate this wisdom and tap into their higher self and to choose things for their best self. So when you move about the world, I see that, like, of course you're very sweet and you're very kind, but it feels like with the Queen of Cups and the Knight of Cups in reverse, it feels like you're not someone to be messed around with. Like, you do wear your heart on your sleeve, but you're not someone who easily gives your heart away. It's not like you're kind of telling your life story to the next person. No. You're not falling for the next like person you meet. It's like there has to be a genuine connection there. There has to be a stability and a future with the person that you want to be with. So on the outside, it feels like you're someone who's very sexually alluring, who can move things forward, who's very capable, very strong, but still very sweet and sensitive. So like, you carry very much a very Ariana Grande kind of vibe. It's like you have that like weave that's so effortless of being someone who's strong and capable and makes the decisions, who's in a seat of power, who kind of controls the environment around yourself. But at the same time, you do it in a way that's so loving and so caring and so emotionally cognizant. You're someone who can read people's body language and read people's emotions, read people's tone really easily. And that might be because of hypervigilance. Like, I totally understand, same, but you use it to your advantage, you know how to move about the world and how to kind of talk to others around you. Like, for example, if you see someone who's in need of some reassurance, some kindness, say like your friend is in need of some reassurance over something, they'll happily come to you because they know that you're someone who will be very level-headed and give them the nurturing they need, and then also give them like the kick in the butt that they need in order to move forward from the situation. You're like someone who can balance the energies of kindness and firmness. And when it comes to people who aren't friends, who are more like, who are jealous of you, who are hating on you, who give you more of like a prickly kind of tone, you know how to put them in their place. Like, you know how to be in your place and put them in their place, and you help them see your side of the story. So whatever kind of jealousy or envy or anger and resentment, whatever is coming out of them automatically diffuses because you give them like this, oh, I shouldn't have said that. Oh, I shouldn't have talked to them in that way. I really shouldn't have put my foot in my mouth, That's how other people feel once they actually kind of get to know you more. I feel like with people who don't know you and they try to like come at you with some of their own problems, you'll put them in their place by helping them recognize that they were projecting something onto you and they shouldn't have. And it's how you do your comebacks, how you respond to people. It's in a way where it's very much like, oh, yes, I'm sweet, yes, I'm kind, but don't mess with me because I know who I am and I'm not gonna step down from it. So you're someone who's like very sweet on the outside, and some people feel like they can take advantage of that, but then once they try, they're like, oh shit, I shouldn't have done this. Because in reality, you have a very, very solid inner core. You really know who you are. So like whatever they try to like do to you just bounces off you and then goes back to them, you know? It's like the whole I'm rubber, you're glue, whatever you say bounces off me and sticks onto you kind of deal. Okay, yeah, so that's all the messages I have for you today, my pal number ones. That's what makes you unforgettable. I hope you liked this video. This was a fun one, just something to, you know, just be a little bit more lighthearted. Yeah, I love doing these readings because I love hyping up my collective. You guys are the best. You're amazing. I love all of you, each and every one of you so much. My little bundles of joy. It makes me so happy to have such a beautiful and loving and honest community that likes to just listen to tarot readings just like me. It's really nice to be able to be myself in this space. So thank you for allowing me to do what I do. And thank you for being you, your unforgettable soul. I love you so, so, so much. Divine Source loves you so, so, so much. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hi, my pal twos. If you've chosen this card, then this is your pile. So we're looking at the question of what makes you unforgettable. And let's start. You have the wheel. That's so cool. All right. So you are the person who brings fortune or misfortune onto others depending on how the wheel is spun. What makes you unforgettable, my pile twos, is that you really know how to really bring karma to those that need it. It feels like you might be a Hayoka empath or someone who mirrors other people really well. So when people come to you, what makes you unforgettable is that there are significant aspects in their life that need to change, or they're transitioning in some way, and you are the person that kind of shows them or gives them that karma. Really, it feels like you're someone who's very knowledgeable, very wise, very in tune with all of yourselves, with the depths of your soul. You're the one who's done shadow work. You've done spiritual work. You know what it's like to be in a lot of scenarios and have yourself come out the other side being reborn again. You're someone who you are Lady Luck. You are someone who gives people that knowledge and wisdom to move forward, whether that be when they come to you, you either give them something that's super beneficial, something that's benevolent for their life because they earned it, because they deserve it. For example, you might like gift a friend who's just been doing so much hard work, or you give kind words out to those who need it, or you give out compliments to random strangers on the street because you're like, oh, I just feel like doing that today. And it's because you studied yourself, you've studied your soul, because you know yourself so well that you're able to tune in and tap into the divine already. And so when you do that, you give out to others what's needed. So for another example would be like, if someone hasn't been doing their best, someone who treats you wrong, someone who takes advantage of you or tries to take advantage of you, or who's really stressful, you give them their karma that they deserve. And it's not like you intentionally do it. You don't intentionally do any of these things. It just kind of happens. So for example, like someone who's like super negative, like they come to you and you're just like this ray of sunshine, or you are someone who just doesn't take their crap, And so like after meeting you, they'll be in positions of which other people in their life are just as negative. And you're like that catalyst for them. You are that like fortune bringer, You're someone who is the wheel, You are someone who is so connected to the divine that you are a conduit, you are a catalyst, you are a messenger in your own way, in your own purpose, and you don't have to try. I just saw 444 on the clock, so you are an angel. You're like an angel in disguise for people who need it. But that also means you can be an earth angel and be someone who gives them their reckoning when they need it. So what makes my pile number 2 unforgettable? Thank you, Divine Source. We have the 3 of Cups in reverse, and then the 5 of Cups in reverse. And 2 of Swords in reverse. And you also have the 5 of Swords, and then the Knight of Wands. Okay. Alright, let's just end off. No, actually no. We'll put that there. We'll put one more card if I can. Oh, there's 2 cards. You have the 5 of Wands, as well as the 5 of Pentacles in reverse. This is getting pretty big. The spread's getting pretty big. Let me see if I could. Apologies. There, sorry. Just one more card. If I can just have one more card to even it out and balance it out. Thank you. You have the 8 of Wands upright. Okay. Awesome. So yeah, we will do it this way because there's so many. All right, so when it comes to what makes you unforgettable, you are someone who is very, very decisive. You don't take other shit. You are someone who's like a no nonsense kind of person, You don't really cry over spilled milk. You just kind of move forward and continue on. You are a victor. You are someone who is victorious in whatever you do, and you do it in a way that's that can sometimes be a little bit self-destructive, but like not so much to the point where you can't bounce back and heal from it. It feels like you are someone who's very combative, someone who, again, isn't afraid to stand up for themselves. You're someone who can really quickly communicate how they're feeling and have the will, have the drive, have the passion to move forward in whatever endeavor you are in. It feels like you might be someone who's more of a hermit, an introvert, someone who likes to keep to themselves with this 3 of Cups in reverse. And you like it that way because people just bring you problems sometimes. And it feels like you're someone who you're too focused and too busy studying yourself and studying your life to really be involved with the petty drama and the troubles of others that don't really matter. You don't really like participating in negative talk. You don't like to be someone who enables triangulation, which is a manipulative tactic that a lot of narcissists use in order to feel or get sympathy from another person by putting someone else down. You don't condone that. You're just like, okay, so like, why are you telling me this? Like, say like a family member is bitching to you about another family member. Like, other than giving in to what they're saying to you and like just letting them play victim, you're someone who's just like, well, why did this happen? You're someone who really like puts them in their place because you recognize and you can see through the manipulation that family member is doing and the sympathy that they're trying to get and the fact that they're just trying to complain and just talk your ear off for no reason. You don't have time for that shit. You know, you're honestly way too busy with your life to be doing that shit. And the thing is, when you do all of these very willful, very passionate, very fortune-esque heavy roles that you play in other people's lives, you do it in a way that it's very that's very stable, I want to say. That's very grounded. That's very like present. With this Knight of Wands in reverse, it feels like you're someone who really takes the time to get people to understand where they're at, and you don't like dealing with indecision. You don't like dealing with people who don't know their shit, who don't know themselves. Like, it feels like you're not someone, again, you're not someone who's gonna cry over spilled milk. So you don't engage with a lot of people because that's what a lot of people do nowadays. They just like to cry over spilled milk, like to complain about things that don't really matter. And you're just sitting here like, I don't care. So when you have to be in a more combative element, you do it very quickly, you do it very succinctly, you do it in a way where it's just, you're in and out. And you still do it very calmly. You still do it with a sense of serenity, a sense of inner peace, but you don't lollygag. You don't spend a lot of time. You don't dilly-dally. You don't like waste your time on things that don't matter. It feels like, again, you're someone who brings fortune, and you don't, with the 5 of Cups in reverse, you don't let people wallow in their misfortune, you know? You just kind of are like, oh, like, well, you did this to yourself, you know that, right? Like, you're someone who can go with the flow very easily. You're someone who understands what karma is, what dharma is, and what it means to be an authentic individual. All right. Thank you. So you have the Seven of Wands in reverse. Yeah. And again, this is a lot of Wands energy. 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 4 Wands energies at the bottom here. And to me, and a lot of reversals too, but it's reversals of cards that you want to be in reverse. Like the 2 of Swords, the 5 of Cups, the 5 of Pentacles, the Knight of Wands. Like these are cards, the 7 of Wands, these are cards that you want to be in reverse, because usually like upright, they connote like unfortunate events, misery, indecision, things like that. Like, but you're someone who is the opposite of that. You are someone who you're a trailblazer, you're a change maker, you are the blueprint for what's gonna come. And without even trying, you're someone who doesn't have to fight in order to be heard. You don't have to say a lot in order to be understood. Like, again, it's very quick communication with you. Like, people understand what you mean by, you don't even have to say things sometimes. Sometimes you can just give a look and people like know they fucked up. Or you can give a look and people know they did good, you know? Like, it feels like you're someone who brings in that, again, that type of fortune, whether that be good fortune or misfortune, to those that appropriately deserve it, you know? That's what makes you unforgettable. And I saw 444 on my timer again, so it feels like you are someone who is very heavily protected. You are someone who really knows how to arm themselves with the necessary tools in order for you to be this way. So for example, like your knowledge of yourself, the tools you have in terms of how you know yourself and how you operate in the world, and how you know that you can mirror back to people what they need, you use that to your advantage, and you arm yourself in a way where you know also when to step back when things are a little too much. You also know how to put in your boundaries whenever you need to. You know how to speak from your heart. And sometimes you might feel like that's self-destructive. Sometimes you might feel like you're doing the bad thing and you're putting like your foot in your mouth, but you're not. You are telling people the truth that they need to hear. You are giving them the catalyst of words that they need in order to change. And that's not your fault. That's like, obviously, you know when it's too much, and you know how to like compassionately tell people what they need to hear. But if people are just throwing shade your way and like doing it in a way that's like, oh, like I'm such a victim, like, oh my god, like pile number 2s, like they were so mean to me, like you don't take that bullshit. And people around that person will start to be like, they'll start to question that person, because they'll be like, what do you mean? Like, pile number 2s gave you this and this and this and this. They gave you this understanding and this lesson and these tools for you to move forward. What do you mean? Like, why are you making yourself the victim? So like you kind of expose the narcissists who are more on the end of the victimization and the external validation spectrum. You're someone who really like calls them out for their bullshit, and you don't let them continue to be such a negative and such a rude and such a nasty individual. You're someone, again, who gives fortune to those that needs and misfortune to those that need. Mm-hmm. Okay, we're gonna get a few more cards just to end off the reading. You have the Nine of Cups in reverse. What makes my pile number 2's unforgettable? If I can just get a couple more cards, please. What makes my pile number 2's unforgettable? Thank you. You have the Four of Wands in reverse and the Six of Cups in reverse. Interesting cards to have in reverse. Okay, so you're not someone who's going to be taken advantage of. What makes you unforgettable is that you put on a persona where you have a very like a don't fuck with me energy, you know? Like, what makes you unforgettable is that people know not to mess with you, know that they can't take advantage of you, know that you are someone that's gone to the depths of their soul and who doesn't need anyone else to fulfill them. You're someone who is emotionally fulfilled by yourself, and you're very giving to yourself, but you're not so readily easily going to do that to others because you know that they don't deserve it all the time. You're someone who recognizes that people aren't always the greatest, and you know, Lady Luck shines on those who need it, you know? And I feel like this is a very like when you have to deal with the public a lot. So I'm feeling like you're someone who like is either online and has to deal with a lot of like rude comments, and then you really don't condone that. You really like pinch it in the butt. You really like, you don't let that happen. Or you're just someone who deals with the public like at your workplace so much so that you have a front where you mean business, you know? Like, you're not someone to be messed with. You're here for the job. You're not here to gossip. You're not here to cause drama. You're not here to overly give yourself to the work. You know, you clock out. If it's a 9 to 5 and it's 5 o'clock, you're done. You're not staying any longer. It's like you recognize and understand that like your time is so much more valuable than staying at this job to work for someone else, that you will clock out when you need to. You will remember how to really separate yourself from that workspace so that you can take care of yourself. So you put in those boundaries really well. You're like a very badass, hard ass. Dare I say, you might even be my social justice, humans who love humans pile. Yeah, you carry that energy of being very, very strong. It feels like you have a hard shell exterior, and you have a soft inner core that only a very, very few people can really really get to know and understand, you know? And it's because of the experiences you've had that you're like this, you know? So very opposite to my pile ones, but I love that. I love that for you. You sound like an amazing human being that really just, you know when to come into people's lives, and you know when to really catalyst them to a new era of their life. And you know when you're that, like, you're kind of like the emperor in terms of, like, you give people the discipline they need. You give people exactly what they need when they need it, kind of energy. Not exactly the emperor, because you're the wheel of fortune. And so it's like, it depends on who and what. Again, it's very dependent on their karma. That's what makes you unforgettable. It's like, yeah, it's very much dependent on how other people are moving about their life. And when they meet you, you kind of rain down that karma onto them. And it feels like you've had to deal with a lot of bullshit people, and you've had to give that kind of karmic, like, bad karmic rain, that justice oriented karma to those that need it. Okay. I can spend all day talking about you, my pile twos, but I feel like I should end it here. Keep doing you. Keep being your badass warrior self with a squishy interior. I know I didn't really get into the squishy interior part, but it feels like what makes you unforgettable for most people that you meet, because it still feels like you kind of are hermity, or more introverted. It feels like who you deal with most of the time is like the public. So that's why this spread is the way it is. But yeah, it also still feels like you do have that very, like, sweet, soft inner core that not a lot of people get to see. Only the chosen ones do. Only the fortunate ones do. Only the ones who really put in that hard work, who have already done the shadow work themselves, who knows what it means to change. Those are the only people that you'll actually share yourself with, for a good reason. Anyways, okay, thank you so much for being here. I really enjoy doing these videos. I love hyping up my collective. I think you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for allowing me to read for you and do the job that I do. I appreciate you, each and every one of you, so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day, night, or evening wherever you are. Take care. Bye. Hi, my pile threes. If you've chosen this card, then this is your reading. So today's reading, we're doing it on the question of what makes you unforgettable. So let's get started. You have the King of Cups. So what makes you unforgettable, my pile number threes, is that you're someone who has that very, very open, very, what's the word? It's like, you know how to hold space for others, and you do it in a way that feels very protective, very calm, very firm, and very present. You're someone who knows how to handle any current of water, whether that be someone's coming at you with, like, excuse me, this very emotional and very heart-wrenching and deep stuff about themselves. You're someone who can be trusted with that information. You're someone who can really hold space for them and pour it back into them, the love that they need and love that they crave. You're someone who knows how to wield the sword of emotions in terms of being able to almost like manipulate them to the person's advantage as well as your advantage. And by manipulate, I don't mean that as like a negative connotation that manipulation usually brings about. It's more of the ways in which you understand how to read people's emotions really well. So you know how to get them out of a headspace that's not conducive for themselves. You know how to shift their tune so that they look at the situation in a more rational way. It feels like you're someone who also is unforgettable because you know how to care for yourself quite well. You know how to pour back into yourself when you need it. You know how to be able to share yourself with others too. You're okay with being vulnerable, but you know the appropriate times in which you can be vulnerable with others, and you know how to share yourself with others in a way where it's refreshing to people, because people, like, it's not like you tell them like your whole life story, but you give them like bits and pieces of information for them to recognize and understand who you are and to know you better. But you're not like spilling your cup over. You're not telling them your whole life story or anything like that. You do it in a way that's very appropriate, very like trusting. You're someone that people can trust, and that's what makes you unforgettable. So what makes my pile number 3s unforgettable? You have the 4 of Pentacles in reverse. What makes my pile number 3s unforgettable? What makes my pile number 3s unforgettable? Divine Source. What makes my pile 3s unforgettable? You have the 7 of Pentacles. You also have the 5 of Cups upright. What makes my pile 3s unforgettable? And then you have the Star in reverse. So there's a type of patience you have with yourself that exudes out onto others, and that's what makes you unforgettable. With this 7 of Pentacles upright, it feels like you know how to, timing. You know how to really be in divine timing. You really know how to play your cards right. You know how to make your own luck. With the Star in reverse, it feels like you're someone who doesn't need to lean on others for that hope, for that support. It's you have your own willpower, you have your own strength in order to know when. You have a good head on your shoulders, so you don't really need external validation in terms of knowing when's the right time to do something. You just kind of do it. With this 5 of Cups upright, with the 4 of Pentacles in reverse, it feels like you're someone who emotionally processes things in a healthy manner. You can look at the past and you can grieve over the past and grieve over the spilled cups of the past, but you're not holding on to it. The 4 of Pentacles is usually someone who holds on too tightly to what is going on around them. They hold on to their pentacles or material things too much in order to just keep it around. It's very possession kind of energy. But with you, it's more like you have the grace and the wisdom to really have that relief, have that healing of the past, of letting it out, of letting yourself cry it out, letting yourself understand that, yes, this has happened in the past. Yes, I understand the lessons I needed to go through, but I don't need to hold on to them. I have other cups waiting for me. I have other things waiting for me. I don't need to hold on to these emotions. I can let them go. And for that, it gives you that kind of patience. You have this patience with yourself. You're someone who can really nurture yourself and have a good relationship with yourself, so you know how to parent yourself well. You know how to give back to yourself, and you know how to kind of go easy on yourself. And it's not like you don't have the discipline to go hard on yourself. It's just that you know that if you push yourself too much, you won't get the desired results that you want. So other than doing that, you'll happily, patiently wait for the time when it's right in order to get things done. So what makes my pile number 3 unforgettable? You have the Ace of Cups. Oh, Ace of Swords. Apologies. I don't know why my camera's doing this, but it's the second time my camera just kind of stopped on me there. A little unfortunate. So apologies about that. Apologies if you just watched like a photo, because my camera cut off. But yeah. It is what it is. So you have the Ace of Swords. You also have the 7 of Wands. You have the Sun in reverse. You have the Wheel and Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Okay. So when it comes to you, what makes you unforgettable is that you're someone who stands their ground. You know how to choose your words carefully, and that kind of puts like, that can kind of like, you can like easily cut someone off. What makes you unforgettable is that like you don't take anyone's bullshit, just like my pile 2s, but in a way in which you don't really even bother dealing with them. Like with the Sun in reverse, the Sun is always something very joyous, and when it's in reverse, it's the same meaning. It's very joyous, but to a lesser degree. So it feels like you're someone who on the inside, like my pile 2s, is very sweet, very soft, very nurturing, very joyous, but you don't show it to most people. It feels like you much rather kind of be more witty. You are someone who is more sharp with your tongue. You're someone who knows how to put their best foot forward. You're not someone who's gonna like you're not someone who's gonna like how do I say this? Stick around for the karma that someone deserves. Like, it feels like you're someone who just kind of cuts them off, point blank period, and you just let it play out, like, without that person in your life. What makes you unforgettable is that, like, you know how to grieve over losses and wait patiently for the next new thing to come into your life. And it feels like you take a lot of the past pains in order for you to recognize the opportunities you have moving forward. It feels like you understand the lesson of, in order for you to move forward, there has to be something that's let go from the past. And you know how to again, really stand your ground with it. You have a lot of knowledge and power in your knowledge to know that your job, your role in other people's lives isn't to give them like toxic positivity, isn't to give them you're not an enabler. That's definitely what it feels like. What makes you unforgettable is that like you're like someone who's gonna give people the right advice when they need to. It feels like, again, you're very logical, and it's not like you don't know how to be empathetic. You just know when it's appropriate to be empathetic. So you're not a people pleaser either. You're someone who's gone past that. You're someone who's moved on from that stage of life, and you recognize that people don't need to be pleased all the time. Like, you need to take care of yourself first, and then once that's good, then you can pour back to others in terms of what they need. But you're not gonna like bend over backwards for someone. You're not going to like, you're not gonna self-sacrifice for someone else because you recognize that that's not your job to play. That's not your role to play. You're here to really pour back into yourself. You're really here to give yourself that inner joy, inner wisdom, inner fire. You have this very willful, very powerful sense about you that can, again, use your words in the way you need it to in order for you to have the right opportunities. So what makes you unforgettable is that you are very no nonsense. You're very much someone who on the inside has the power to possess this very healing, this very forward momentum. Like you're someone who can, it's not just the forward momentum though. It feels like more like you're someone who really knows your heart, speaks from your heart, loves with your heart, and you know how to heal your heart, and you know how to heal the hearts of the people around you. But you know when it's appropriate to. You know how to patiently wait for the right timing in terms of what people need to hear and when they need to hear it. What makes my pile number 3's unforgettable? What makes my pile number 3's unforgettable? You have 3 of Wands. That's a lot of cards. What makes my pile number 3's unforgettable? Thank you. You also have the Empress. Okay. Yeah. So you really do know how to speak from the heart. With this 3 of Wands here, I was getting to the notion of you being able to move forward when you need to. You know how to look to the future in regards to understanding the new opportunities that are about to come, and to really use a soulful sense of understanding who you are and understanding your past in order to move forward into the future. With the Empress card, what makes you unforgettable is that you are someone who is in a very receptive mode. You're someone who is still very nurturing, still very loving, still very patient and kind. And you know how to harvest and reap what you sow. Like, you know how to get what you deserve, you know? It feels like you're someone who knows how to ask for a raise, or knows when you deserve more payment, or knows that you need more emotional support, and you stick to that grounding of, you don't let people just like walk all over you. You're someone who really has that inner power, inner strength to stand your ground and stand up for yourself, because you already love yourself so much, and you already have that very good relationship with yourself in a way where it's like you love yourself so much in the sense of you know how to take care of yourself, you know how to parent yourself, you know how to heal yourself. So what you expect from others is the same type of maturity, the same type of grace, the same type of compassion. And if they don't give it to you, then it's like, oh, okay, goodbye. Let's move, thank you, next kind of deal, you know, let's move on. Because you already have such a cultivated self-love, self-joy, self-wisdom that you don't really need to depend on others. You're very self-sufficient. But if you allow others in, then that means they really deserve it. Like, you are happy to wait for the right one, for the right partner, for the right friendship, because you recognize and understand how much self-worth you have. Yeah, all right. Last thing, you just have that best foot forward for yourself, the willpower in order to succeed in whatever you do. And that's what makes you unforgettable. My pile number 3s. Yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm so happy to read for you again. I've said this in every pile, but I mean it. Like, these are my favorite readings because I love hyping up my collective. I really do believe you are the best, and each and every one of you is just so sweet and kind, and it's just so special. And so it's just such a joy, and I'm very humbled to be able to read for so many of you wonderful bundles of joy. Yeah, anyways, I hope you take care and hope you have a great rest of your day and evening. Bye. I'm pile 4s. If you've chosen this card, then this is your pile. And today we're doing a reading on what makes you unforgettable. So let's get started. You have the card of 8 of Swords in reverse. Interesting. So what makes you unforgettable is that it feels like you're very spontaneous. You're someone who's very adventurous, who is the life of the party. With this 8 of Swords in reverse, it doesn't feel like you hide yourself. It feels like you're someone who knows how to have a good time, knows how to be alive. You know, you have that joie de vivre. It feels like you are someone who is really connected to the rhythms of life, and you know how to kind of sweet talk your way into situations, and you it feels like you're someone I'm getting that gif of Rachel McAdams getting like these smoothies for free or something, and like the cashier being like, yeah, for you it's for free, and then she's like, really? And she's like, she has like whipped cream all over her mouth and stuff. It feels like you know how to like play your cards right. You know how to kind of get what you want from being so in tune with the nature of everybody else, and understanding how people operate. You know how to, again, sweet talk your way into something. It feels like you have a very intuitive, a very occult-like sense about you that can tap into a lot of people's subconscious and unconscious desires. And that really helps move you forward in order for you to live this very fun and very vivacious kind of life. So that's what makes you unforgettable. My pile number 4s. Let's see more cards. What makes my pile number 4s unforgettable? What? Okay, thank you. You have the Emperor as well as the Hangman. What makes my pile number 4 unforgettable? What makes my pile number 4 unforgettable? You have the Devil. Yeah, I was picking that up. As well as the Two of Wands in reverse. Okay, let's start with these. You have a lot of major arcanas that just came out. I'm very happily surprised. Okay. So what makes you unforgettable is that you give people a new perspective on life. You have a lot of people watching you. You have a lot of time in regards to what you do in your day. And so you might make the most of it. You might be an influencer. You might be someone who's chronically online, which I say hello, my fellow chronically online person. You might be someone who, again, just knows how to flip a situation upside its head and make this new perspective on life. It feels like you can really tap into people's desires with this Devil card. It feels like you really understand the sexual nature at play, and the knowledge that you have of it really catapults you into getting what you want. But the thing is, it's not that like you get what you want, like just like, oh, willy-nilly, you don't have to work for it. You do. With the Emperor here, it feels like you're very disciplined. You're very oriented in terms of you can really take a lot of self-sufficient, very stern aspects of yourself. You know how to really be responsible for yourself in order to make things happen. And it feels like you have a side of you that taps into this joyous side by also having this like amazingly paradoxical kind of side that's like future oriented, that's very disciplined, who knows the goals that you want and knows how you want to achieve it. So you easily step into these powers of being able to tap into the minds of others, tap into the hearts of others, and tap into the sexual desires of others in order for you to succeed in life. You know how to play the game of life well, and that's what makes you unforgettable, my dear pile fours. I think that's quite amazing. You know that there's a limited time that you have on Earth, so you might as well make the most of it, and you might as well have fun doing it, and you might as well live life to its fullest. That's how you feel. It feels like you know how to really engage with the luxuries of life. You know how to engage with the pleasures of life, and but like again, there's this side of you that it's like work hard, play hard kind of deal. You work hard. I'm hearing she works hard for the money. So it feels like you're someone who works hard to get your bag, and then you have fun and you treat yourself because you know you've worked hard, you know? It comes from a place where it's like very much, oh, like I deserve to have what I have because I've worked for it. I deserve to have fun because I know I worked for it. Let's say like you work really hard at whatever you do, and then you spend money for this vacation, and like on the vacation you finally get to let loose and be like your spontaneous self. But like in the workplace, you're very much disciplined. You're someone who gets like their work done on time, if not earlier. You're someone who people can depend on, and you're someone who is again future oriented. So you understand that the work that you do will help propel you for a better future. You're probably someone who also invests their money well. You have the Page of Swords. What makes my pile number 4s unforgettable? What makes my pile number 4s unforgettable? What makes my pile number 4s unforgettable? You have the 4 of Wands. What makes my pile number 4s unforgettable? If I can just get less cards. What makes my pile number 4s unforgettable? Oh, did I? No, I didn't. Alright, well, these 2 cards really want to come up. You have the Hermit in reverse, as well as the Magician in reverse. What makes my pile number 4? Oh, thank you. You also have the 10 of Cups. In reverse. All right. Okay. So it feels like you're a very romantic kind of individual, a very soulful kind of individual. With the Hermit in reverse, it feels like you're very extroverted. It feels like you're someone who, again, knows how to play the game of life and knows how to sweet talk their way into almost anything. And it feels like you're kind of like the apple of someone's eye. If not, people see you as marriage material. They see you as someone they want to be in a relationship with. They see you as someone that they can have a fun time with. They can really enjoy themselves with. That they can have a really celebratory and beautiful life with. But it feels more not like the sense of just like the traditional home life. It kind of feels like people would want you because you're someone that they can go traveling with. You're someone who will always have fun in life, and it's not like you want to be tied down, but it is like more like you're unforgettable because you bring that passionate aspects of life back into play for most people. Can I have a clarifier for this Magician in reverse, please? Okay, we have 2. We have the 3 of Wands, as well as the Ace of Swords. Okay. All right, so it feels like you're not someone who stays in one place all the time. You might move a lot. But it definitely feels like, again, you're very future oriented. It feels like you use your words, again, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but these are the clarifiers. It feels like you use your words to get what you want, and you know how to use your power and knowledge of how to finesse others in order for you to plan out your future. And again, it's like you know how to play the game well. You know how to play the game of life well, and you want to have fun doing it. And what makes you unforgettable is the fact that people can sense this about you. People can understand that you are someone who doesn't have to use all your resources all the time. You know how to get it from other people. You know how to have, like, it feels like you're that person that knows like a bunch of other people. Like you have a guy or a gal for something. Let's say like you want to go traveling. You have someone in the flight industry to hook you up with tickets. You know, you want to go to a rock concert. You have you know the band member, so they give you like front row passes, or they get you backstage. Like it feels like you have these connections that really help you get what you want, and you know how to really keep these connections well endowed in your life. It is a blessing and a privilege, and it takes a lot of hard work in order to maintain relationships like these. So the connections that you do have, you do still put in that hard work in regards to keeping up with them, making sure they're okay, making sure that you have a good relationship with them, making sure that you have a fun time with them. Like that, this is literally like what a lot of jobs are, is being able to have those connections. You'd probably be very good in politics. You'd probably be very, very good in any type of job that requires you to have a charming, diplomatic, and connection-oriented based position. You would be very good at that. If not, you're already doing something like that. What makes my pile number 4's unforgettable? What makes my pile, oh, thank you. You have the Chariot, as well as the King of Swords in reverse, and the 5 of Swords in reverse. So let's move all of these. Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to make the cards like look a little bit more aesthetic here. All right, thank you for being patient with me while I did that. Okay, and let's just move this one a little down. All right, so with the Chariot, the King of Swords in reverse, and 5 of Swords in reverse, it feels like you have a very, oh, I didn't realize this, the arm was cut off here, but you have a very forward momentum in how you move about the world. You're someone who has the willpower, the strength, the victory in regards to being able to see things through. And you do it in a way where it's not like an overburden for people. It feels like you don't do it in a way that's condescending. You don't do it in a way that like you put your foot in your mouth. You have a way with words, especially for you to be victorious, for you to really connect with your kind of manifestation powers, with your divine connection, in order for you to recognize and understand what you need in order to keep life interesting, keep life moving, keep life being fun, you know? You just have a very joie de vivre of life, a very, very joy of life kind of personality that gives you the space to move forward and move on. And what makes you unforgettable is that you carry that within every relationship that you're in, and you carry that in your personality. So when people meet you, they're like, oh, I'd love to grab drinks with them. I'd love to do a collab with them. You're someone who knows how to charm people so that you make these good connections, and you make them in a way where they want to continually have that relationship with you. If you know the creator Haley Bailey on YouTube, she collabs with so many different YouTubers, and she gets to go to a lot of very amazing star-studded events like the Grammys or the Oscars, or like award shows, because she maintains really great connections with the people she's around, and She is a very relatable queen. She's someone who's very charming and very humble about how she comes across, but still very authentic, still very her. Like, you know, it feels like that's how you also come across. You can make friends with almost anyone. You can really, like people who aren't secure in themselves, you'll rub them the wrong way a little bit because you're so secure in yourself, and you're just kind of silly, fun, happy, goofy kind of person. And you know, the girlies that get it, and the girlies that don't. You know, like that's just life. And like you feel like you're a really healing presence to those who need joy back into their life. You kind of hold the key in regards to being able to not take life too seriously. And again, it's like you do when it's needed. Like what makes you unforgettable is that in a more professional sense, you are someone that people can depend on. You have your shit together. But in a more like relaxed setting, you're someone who, again, is like the life of the party, you know? And you really know how to get things moving, and you know how to succeed and be victorious in whatever you do, because you know how to really behave. You know, like other people's behaviors, you know the different tactics in which people move about the world, and you know, I'm being called to this book. Yeah, it's the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. It feels like you know that book well. You know how people manipulate others. You know how to manipulate others in order for you to succeed in life. And it's, again, it's not a bad type of manipulation. It's not like you're doing it for like a malevolent kind of outcome. You're doing it because you just want to understand how people work, and you want to navigate social settings in the best way you can, in the most equipped way you can. It's a tool for you to recognize when people are manipulating you, and how you can manipulate others in order for you to succeed and get what you need. And that's what makes you unforgettable, is that you have that type of power, that type of will, in order for you to have the abundance and have your manifestations come about in the way that's needed. That, yeah. You know, you really know how to keep those connections, and you really know how to be self-disciplined, yet so much fun, depending appropriately on the situation you're in. And that's what makes you unforgettable, my pal number 4s. So thank you so much for listening. I really enjoyed doing this reading for you. I love hyping up my collective. I said this in each and every pile, and I truly mean it. It is just such an honor to read for you, each and every one of you, and to be able to do this. So thank you so much for everything. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope you take care. Bye.